This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Joseph Parker over Zoom. Joe, you're a matter of 10 days or so away now from fight night. How are you, first and foremost?
I'm just looking forward to next week, fight week, and just getting closer to the fight. It's been a great camp. Put in the work, seeing progress each week, and I'm excited to put it all on display.
Joe, I'm keen to get a better understanding of kind of your dynamic and your relationship with Andy Lee, because certainly in these last couple of years, you two, the bond you have has really kind of been out there for everybody to see how close you are, but the results are backing it up now. Would you say this is the best you've felt in your career, and how much would you put that down to Andy?
Andy's a master, and Andy's a great teacher in boxing. And I've been in New Zealand with George Lockhart since February, since the last fight, March up until August. And we've been building away, working on aerobic capacity, working on strength and conditioning, working on many things. And I feel like when we come into camp and start work with Andy Lee, I'm already in shape. I'm already in good shape. And it's just about working on specific things that Andy wants me to work on to counter what Fabio brings. And so when you have the mastermind of Andy Lee behind you, and you have the work that I've been doing with George, and then myself putting in the work, it takes the three of us to make me the best fighter I could be.
Would you say this is the best you felt during your career?
Best. No, seriously. A lot of fighters say, you know what, this has been the best camp ever, and I've had a great, everything's been, and then after the fight, they're like, you know what, the camp hasn't been the best, and I had a few things here and there, issues, injuries. This has been a great camp. I have no injuries. There's been no issues. It's just been hard work, good balance, and everyone enjoying camp, and everyone making the most of it and putting in the work to get me to be the best that I could be.
One more with Andy before we move forwards, Joe. I asked Hamza this, so I'll bring it to yourself. Obviously, when he teamed up with Hamza Shiraz, he had that controversial draw with Carlos Adames. He teamed up with Ben Whittaker on the back of a controversial fight with Liam Cameron. Both of those fights, in their first fights together, we saw Ben stop Liam Cameron early, and then we saw Hamza stop Edgar Berlanga in emphatic fashion as well. And then we've seen the results with you and your work together in the last couple of years with some of those high-profile wins. What is it exactly, if you could pinpoint it, what is it that Andy works on with you guys?
Andy's like what do you call it? He's so like he's in the corner, for example. Like even in sparring and even in the fight, he's so calm. He's so calm and it took me. I'm not sure about the boys, Hamza and Ben, but it took me a while to actually understand things that Andy was trying to show me and trying to teach me. It takes a while, but like when you see these guys have these great results, it comes down to the hard work they've put in, but also comes down to the guidance of Andy Lee. And there's a lot of trainers that can be good pad holders, and it looks fantastic on social media and whatever they post up. But it's different being a teacher. He teaches you, he breaks things down, and he's able to show you. Sometimes you think you're doing it right, but you're not. And when he shows you, then you click, okay, and you have to do it over and over and over again. It's repetition, repetition. And the boys will tell you that Andy, he's very structured in his approach, but he's also very what do you call it? Very detailed.
It's an interesting point you made at the start of the answer, where maybe at the beginning it took you a bit longer to understand what Andy wanted from you, because obviously with Ben and Hamza we saw instant performances and knockout results. With yourself,
Yeah.
we had to see the progress over a period of time instead. What would you put that down to?
The with Andy, everything has been great with Andy, and we've been building together along the way. Then I had to add in George Lockhart. I think I had to get the balance right with the strength conditioning, nutrition, and also recovery. I mean, I was pushing myself and smashing the training, but not giving myself enough time to recover. And I guess when you have the proper balance and everything's all aligned equally, um, then you look better and better each and every time you're in the ring.
Moving on to next week, Joe. I'd probably say Fabio might be the only heavyweight you haven't sent out a call out video to, in some way, shape, or form. I asked Frank this, and I'll put it to you as one of the two guys in the main event. Why take this fight, Joe? Such a high risk fight without a full version of a world title on the line.
I just want to fight. I'm done waiting for too long outside of the ring and not getting any fights. I had a fight with Zhang in March last year. I had a fight with Bacoli February, nearly a year out of the ring. And being out of the ring for that long just doesn't do any fighter any good. So as soon as I was able to get a fight locked in, I locked it in as soon as I could. And I know Fabio Wardley brings there's nothing like what's on the line here. The WBO interim
Yeah.
title and the person who's next in line to fight Usyk. I just want to keep fighting. I want to keep fighting. Time goes quick. It's not going to wait for anyone, and I want to make the most of my time left in boxing.
Obviously, with Fabio, we know he has that devastating knockout power. We saw it against your compatriot Justice Hooney when it seemed like that fight had got away from him. When I ask people about this fight, Joe, they put it down quite simply that you're more experienced and a better version of Justice. You won't fall into that trap that maybe he did, maybe becoming a little bit complacent and taking his eye off the ball because he became comfortable. Um, is it as simple as a breakdown as that? Is it just as simple as you're kind of a bit further ahead than what Justice is, so you won't allow that to happen?
I don't. I feel like with this fight, even if a lot of people are saying I'm a lot more experienced than Justice Union, which is probably correct, but I'm not just gonna look at Fabio's last fight. Andy said to me, sometimes fighters do have a bad day in the office, and it could well be that he had a bad day in the office, or could well be that Justice Hooney was just that experience that made him look like that. But we're looking at the last 4 or 5 fights and seeing what he's done. So we're not just looking at the last fight and saying, you know what, that's the blueprint. And a lot of people will look at it and go, you know what, that's all he has to do to beat him. But again, that fight will probably make him better than what he was, and he could learn a lot from that fight, even though he got the win. But learning about what he was able to do in the fight, what he should be doing in the next fight.
Obviously, you mentioned kind of studying the last, say, 4 or 5 fights of Fabio's. In that period, he's had some time together with Ben Davison now, and Ben and Andy are considered two of the best countries, best trainers across the UK and Ireland. Have you been watching fights from prior to his link up with Ben, and have you seen maybe certain traits which are not good on his behalf that maybe he's still carrying over despite his time with Ben Davison?
Uh, I haven't really studied, the fights he had before Ben Davison, to be truthful. I've only studied the last 4 or 5 fights. I didn't even have Fabio Wardley as on my radar as a person I was going to fight. So when it was locked in, it was like, okay, better start watching some fights now and see what he does, and for Andy to come up with a game plan. But I haven't. I know with Ben Davison and the team that is behind him, he'll be very detailed what they've been working on.
What's the key for you, Joe? What's the key for you having your hand raised next week?
Being being patient, being dominant, patient and picking your moments, showing that experience, showing that there are different levels in this game of boxing, and go out there and do the job.
Obviously, Joe, we know that he's got that massive carrot being dangled of a potential route to Oleksandr Usyk. We saw your call out videos of him. I don't think he responded, but we saw a video of him dancing afterwards. Just want to get your thoughts on seeing that. And obviously, I know there was an inquest from the WBO asking for further proof of his injury. If you ever heard anything further on that?
Never heard anything further, and I guess he's just enjoying himself and having a good break. And if he isn't injured, may he recover well, and hopefully down the line, if he can get the job done February next week, then down the line we can make something happen.
Is that again the frustrating part of boxing that you've had such this terrific run of victories, Joe, and there's one man, and rightfully so to his own credit, he's been unbelievable during his career. But Alexander Usyk holds all of those belts, and he's the shot caller, if you will. So that puts you in that predicament, of
Yeah.
that position of you can't do any more than what you are, but you want those world titles.
Listen, you can only do what you can control, and you can only fight whoever's in front of you. And I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm just gonna continue to fight whoever's in front of me. And if I can keep it going, if I can keep getting the good wins, and if I can keep getting the job done, then my time will come to fight for a championship of the world or undisputed or unified. But for now, I'll just keep fighting in front of me and enjoy my work and have fun.
Joe, another name I want to put to you, and I know it's one fight at a time, but that's Anthony Joshua. I know Eddie Hearn spoke about his comeback next year. Is that a fight you still feel like you want to kind of right the wrongs of what happened when you initially fought those years back?
You know what? There was since that fight that we had, since the loss to Anthony Joshua and Dillian White, those are the fights I've been calling for. Then I had a fight with Joe Joyce and lost, and I've been calling for that. And then now he's sort of he's had a few losses more, Joe Joyce. So the Joshua fight would be great to run back. But again, these are all fights that are down the line, all fights that we can look at after next weekend.
Just one question more on that then, Joe. Comparing it to how the first fight went and where both of you are at in your careers now, how different of a fight would it be stylistically?
I feel it'll be yeah, totally different fight. 2018, very defensive. Myself, very defensive, and Joshua was was knocking everyone out. And I think this time our styles and our careers have been gone their own ways, So it'll be very interesting to see what we will do if we do come together in the future and have another fight, a rematch.
One other man I just want to get your thoughts on is a certain Moses Itauma. He's seen as a future king of the division, Joe. I just want to get your take on how much of him you've watched and how highly you rate him.
I had him in training camp when I was fighting Zhang, and I do feel that he's a very, very talented fighter. And I do feel that if he continues to put in the work and, if he stays driven and goal sets, whatever he wants to achieve in boxing, he can achieve it. He's young, talented, he's strong, he's fast. And it's up to him to keep fighting, keep winning, and keep smashing him in front of him and move on to the next.
Spoke to Andy about Moses last year, and he mentioned you two sparring together. And he said that was some high quality work, but it was also brutal for a pair of you. What can you reflect on that sparring with Moses?
Moses came with great work, and I heard he's been sparring, he's been around with all the top heavyweights, and he's given everyone great work. So for me, uh, when you have someone like Moses going around and inspiring everyone and backing himself and giving everyone great work, he's just going to have a bright future. That's all up to him now.
Joe, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. I'll see you in London next week. Good luck with the rest of his camp, and yeah, thanks for speaking to me on Boxing News.
Thanks, Andy. Good to see you.